Mach 500 items. Covers in here, and hardware and miscellaneous pump casters. We have a water softener. We have the hopper. Inside of there is the console, disconnects, some whips, electrical whips, bridge. Up there we have the pump. On the other side we have the base rails. Here we have forklift pockets, lifting pockets. Here we have the cross beams that go between the base rails right here, 2 of them. There's a set of rails. Down inside of here we have the high pressure tubing. It is marked, I need to mark that. Electrical cabinet. The whip holder for the top of the Z. And then the rails for the high pressure tubing. And then a cable track cover. And back to the pump. On the front we have slats, and then those are skirts for the side of the rails, and then the pieces that go in between the tank, the flat bar. You have the chiller, the front and rear sections of the tank, and then the 2 middle sections. There's also a set of steps right inside of here. There's the garnet hose. Here's a picture of the first truck, side view. We have console, hopper, water softener, pumps up front. You can see the bridge, base rails, cross beams here on the side. It's just showing everything that's strapped down on the truck. The rear view, the high pressure tubing is placed between the rails. The rails are bolted together so they can be lifted as a pair. Here's the forklift pockets. There are only 5 of the 6 that are needed. One of the pockets will have to be moved from the bridge to the base rails and vice versa. There you can see another forklift pocket on the bridge. High pressure tubing in between. Everything is supported correctly, strapped down correctly, and secured correctly. All the surfaces, exposed machined surfaces, were sprayed with a lubricant to keep them from flash rusting. Here are the tank sections. Up front we have the slats, the skirts that go on the side of the rails, and the flat bar that goes in between the tank sections. Then we have the chiller and the crate, and then we have the sections of tank stacked. There's wood in between each section so the metal doesn't want to slide very easily. There's also a set of steps in the front set of the tanks for operator convenience, and the garnet. So there's no video footage. We just have a series of pictures showing the disassembly of the machine, just some major components, just some major steps of it. Here we have a view of the machine in full view before we did anything to it. So you can see where everything is set up and how the machine was set up. Here's a front view kind of from the left side. Shows the utilities along the left wall there and how it was set up. And here's a right side view of the machine. Inside the electrical cabinet. This is the next picture is going to show where the Ethernet hooks up, or the EtherCAT, to the data point. Then the next one will have where it connects at the bottom here. And then it exits the electrical cabinet and goes on from there. There you can zoom in and you see which ones go where. I even marked it inside the cabinet so you get the right connectors to the right location. Here we're removing the first section of tank. A lot of bolts along that flange, and there's a gasket between the flange. Also, one thing I did not get a picture of, there are small sections of hose in the top left and top right. They're on the end view of the tank. Those hoses have to be slipped over the pieces of pipe in order for the air bladder system to work. There's 3 bolts on there to tighten up. Those have to be installed if you want the air bladder to work. Here we're inside one of the risers, just doing some disconnects for removing the bridge. This is pretty self-explanatory once you pull all the cables back through. This is inside the left riser, or the Y side. Again, more connectors. The correct Ethernet, EtherCAT cables to the correct ports on the amp. All the wire numbers. I even did some labeling myself to kind of help whoever puts this together. Tanks are removed. We're getting ready to remove the bridge. Got a bolt on the forklift pockets underneath the bridge there. Got those bolted on. The bolts are already on the bridge. They're a metric bolt. There we have the bridge lifted off, supported very well. It moved actually very easily. Now we're moving the first rail. We slide it over to the second rail, bolt them together with the red brackets. There's the crate for the chiller. We took pictures before we closed it all up. Chiller's nice and secured. The barrel is full of water. There's a barrel inside that has to be filled with water, so we shipped it full instead of draining it and causing an issue. This is an HT chiller. Here we have the roll-around console. It's securely fastened to this crate, to the pallet. Then we built a crate around it, secured it in, put some electrical whips in there, put the disconnects in there, put some tubing in there, just some random stuff kind of went in there. But that roll-around console is not going anywhere. We did the shake test. Here's the final crate. Just the sheet metal shields, the whip bracket, some hardware. The casters for the pump are in there. Must be bolted back on. Open all crates from the top first.